If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the it's as big as a whale, and we're heading on down to the Luv Shak. I got me a Chrysler and it's about 20, so hurry up and spend your jukebox money.
Is a little place where we can get together.
Hey, Albert, how are you?
Charming Charles, and welcome everybody to Luv Shak. I'm your host, Dr. Love Big Al.
And I'm your co-host, Charming Charles, right here in Nashville, Tennessee with my buddy Albert.
Okay.
Welcome, Al.
In Nashville, Tennessee, at the home of Charming Charles. This is a special interview for a special man, a man who was my best friend at my wedding. I want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it's been great. Our last show was great. You know, a lot of great matches. The wedding was beautiful. The reception was great.
It was
And now we're
great.
going to move on to August 11th. Plus, we've got, Time to Love that Shak airs. The benefit show will be over, but we got a benefit show tomorrow. And also, a great interview with a great person. I'll tell you what, we're going to start it off now.
Sure. Let's
So
go.
it's your turn this time.
All right.
But, now, okay, Charming Charles, when first we get started, how did you come out with that name, Charming Charles?
Charming Charles. Well, that's real weird, Al. I'll be honest with you. I started in, and I started out, my real name's Charles Douglas, but I was called Doug all my life because Dad was Charles and Grandpa was Charles. But I just started up, I started out with Doug Deluxe.
Doug Deluxe.
And then I started out with, in my music career, I started to call myself Charles Douglas Cook, so one day I just said, hey, Charming Charles. And I thought, that's it, it's stuck.
Okay, your music, band, is great. What came first, the wrestling or the music?
Well, actually, probably both. I mean, the music, the wrestling came in about 1958. My dad had a barber shop in Louisville, Kentucky, and he cut everybody's hair. He cut a local wrestling promoter. So I got into it watching it then, but probably the music actually started coming in. But then again, in 1972, I met a man by the name of Paul Morton. It was Ricky Morton's dad, and he helped me, got me and guided me and got me to the right people. And I was worked for a guy named Don Pruitt. I think you know Don, didn't you?
Yeah. So you've been in the business over 50 years now.
50, well, not just watching it, but I've been active since about 72.
Okay. Now take us all the way back to the first time you got into business and how you got started.
Well, actually, the first match that I ever had was I was managing a disc jockey that's in Louisville right now, named Cody Calhoun, and he wrestled a guy by the name of Jerry the King Lawler.
Jerry the King Lawler.
That was my first match ever, and it was pretty wild. It was a radio promotion that we were doing, and that was probably my first.
So you was a wrestler
match.
before you was a manager, or was you manager first?
I was, back then you had to train to do both. I mean, you just couldn't, today anybody can get a cane and a hat and they're a manager, but that's not how it was back then. You had to learn how to wrestle to be a manager.
Now, you've managed a lot of guys, a lot of titles. What was the first title you actually won?
Well, let's see. I guess that was about 1970 See, I got out of it in the 70s and went back because I went to music full-time and traveled. I guess that was about 1995, 90-something, 95, around in there. It was in Columbia, Tennessee championship. Now, I didn't hold it, the guy managed it.
Now, how many titles, name all the titles you've accomplished.
Oh, shoot, let's see.
Name a few of them.
NWA Mid-America, I had that champion. I had the NWA Tag Team Champions. I had the CWF, I guess it was, at one time champion. I had the
several of them.
yeah, I could go on and on. I'd have to think.
Okay. Now we got a two-part question here. First part is, who is your favorite that you managed?
Rob Conway.
Rob Conway, the Iron Man, and he's still with NFW today. He's
Yep.
great. Now, all 3 years of watching and managing stuff, who do you say would be your favorite wrestler of all time?
That nationally, nationally, and I guess my favorite of all times would be Dick the Bruiser.
Dick the Bruiser. Oh, he was tough. You see how wrestlers were back then and how they are now. Compare them. What do you think about wrestlers of yesterday compared to wrestlers of today?
Well, back then, even the low-card guys were good guys. They knew what they were doing. They were men. Like I said back then, man, you trained for at least a year, 2 years before you ever. There wasn't none of this training 3 or 4 weeks or a month and going out and getting the ring. You had to prove yourself. And then after you got there with the training, it was here, kid. Here's my car keys. Drive me. You know, and then after that, maybe if you're lucky, 6 months to a year later, they might give you a chance to go out. You know, somebody didn't show and go out and do jerk the curtain.
Yeah.
But it's changed a whole lot. I could spend the whole. You don't want me getting started.
Yeah, just like today, I think, like the high flyers, how were they back? Were there many of them back then?
There was high flyers back then. I didn't know these guys, but you had Vittorio Apollo, you had Argentina Rocca,
Yeah, he's the one I remember.
and there was a ballet guy. His name was Ricky Starr. He probably wasn't that tall and probably didn't weigh $1.05, but he was a high flyer. And the guy that started training me, he got killed in an accident, was Pepe Lopez. He was a high flyer.
I remember that.
Gosh, there was a bunch of them back then. It wasn't like it is today, it wasn't all the risk.
A lot of actors,
Yeah, there was a little guy, a Greek guy named Mike Pappas, Pappas. He was a flyer.
Now, here's I guess you said a 3-part question, but I would say out of all the times you watched, your favorite match of all time that you've actually witnessed or seen?
See, my favorite match, Johnny Valentine and Gene Kiniski in Louisville Gardens about 1965.
Gene Kiniski, I remember him.
That was the craziest, bloodiest match I've ever seen.
Now, NFW had a lot of exciting matches. What would you say would be the best match NFW has had?
My favorite NFW match?
Yeah.
Well, you asked me a while ago who was my favorite guy managed also, Master Rich, I guess probably my personal favorite in NFW would have to be the night that Rob and myself,
Yeah.
we won the belt. That was probably my favorite match. Then my second favorite match of all time was just this past week with Bobo Brazil and Victor Bruiser.
I love
that match.
That was a great match. Oh, it was wonderful. Now, they call you the charming one, and you said you had other nicknames also, but also you always come out and had this little saying about Don. You're famous for that. I know you for it. I want to hear that. Everybody wants to hear that.
Was more class than a glass of Dom Perignon, more suave than a real Don Juan, terrific like the Pacific, gigantic like the Atlantic, cooler than a breeze off of Lake Louise. My name is not Coca-Cola, however, I am the real thing. And like Maxwell House, I am good to the last drop. Bang the gong, let's get it on in your face like a can of mace. Charmer Charles and Big Al here to take their place.
There you go. I love it.
I got a little rusty on that.
Oh, now, wrestlers of yesterday and today, what do you think be the most physical or violent? I mean, how a lot of injuries are coming out now as far as, how you think it's like more more acrobatic than physical, or I mean?
Well, back then, you know, you brawled a lot. You know, wrestling was wrestling. It was
They
a lot of chain wrestling, a
contact.
lot of contact, a lot of hold chains, chains and holds. And today, you know, a lot of high risk taking, and for why, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I know a kid up east, I can't remember his name, but he took a crazy move not long ago, maybe less than a year ago. Now he's paralyzed for life with a small child, I believe, you know. To me, there's, you know, it's entertainment, that's okay, stuff like that, but you know, to me, that's not really wrestling. I like the old chain wrestling. And, like, do you know, I'm going to tell you something, do you know how long a wrestling match lasted in the old days?
Wow.
6 to 8 hours. As a matter of fact, one of the most grueling matches ever was in Evansville, Indiana, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Zed Strangler Lewis, and he wrestled a Frenchman. And I mean, back then it was hooking and shooting. It wasn't none of the, you know, they was going for it. And the guy, he broke the guy's arm. But it was, you know, it was really, I mean, they'd go 6 to 8 hours. And there was only like 2 matches on the card, if you were lucky.
Now,
I'm getting old, so I'm forgetting a lot of it in between.
now speaking of injuries, were you ever injured in the ring?
Sure I was. I had, look at my nose. My nose has been broken a bunch of times. I've had, got a torn ACL. I didn't really do much wrestling. I had to do a little bit minimum when I started. But just being a manager, you know, there's injuries. Hurt my elbow,
yeah.
I broke my wrist. I got to have a bunch.
Now, you've been all over this country. Name a lot of places that you've been to when you went there.
Oklahoma, Texas, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, all up through there. You know, Indiana.
What do you see in the future for Charlie Charles?
Playing with my grandkids.
There you go. There you go.
No, I'd like to, eventually someday I'd like to maybe have my own promotion. I'd like to do that. There's talk of that with me and myself and I.
You gotta look me up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I'd like to do that. I'm real blessed to be a part of NFW. You know, I work for Mama Rich.
She's a sweetheart.
She's the greatest, man. She gives me lots of opportunities and stuff, and that's what I like to do. I'm hurt now. My back's out. I can't do it in the ring.
Now, will you ever manage again?
You know, that I've been asked that. Like I said, it's hard, but if time was right, and yeah, I probably could have got. I was told to keep saying I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm good once as I ever was.
Now, here is on the more personal side. You've been dealing with some injuries, and here lately you've been having some health issues also. And like I said, time this airs, the benefits show will be over, and I know it's going to be a great one.
Right.
But,
it's a great show.
but the benefit's going to continue to the end of the month. So,
There's a site on the I can't even remember the name of my.
we put it on Facebook.
My daughter
we put
put
the
it
Luv
on
Shack
Facebook,
in.
yeah.
So we watch this. You know, we got to the end of this month. So if you watch the Luv Shack, there will be a site with the Luv Shack on the comment. Just check that out. You got the end of the month. You want to help out the tournament here, and it's for a great cause. We want this man around for a long time because I tell you what, he's been great to me, and he's helped me out. And
Pleasure.
we've known each other for a long time.
Long time.
And like I said, I still remember the first time we talked is when I went out with Cannonball Hall. He wore all that pink, and I'm here in an Army outfit. And he said, "Al, you got to coordinate yourself with him."
Well, yeah.
So I came up with Mr. Sexy, wore my pink outfit. That's where it come from. That idea you gave me. So
Thank you.
I don't forget things like that. That's great. That's great.
Well, you pay attention, you listen. That's how you learn. I try to tell a lot of these young guys. I was one of those guys in school. I didn't care if I got called a dumb bunny. If I didn't know something, if the teacher was talking and I didn't get it, I'd raise my hand and say, "Can you tell me that again?"
Yeah.
You know, not paying attention causes failure.
Okay, now for the guys who's wanting to come in to wrestle, manage, valet, etc., what message will you give them?
Keep your mouth shut. Do what you're told to do. Don't make suggestions. Come in, shake hands, and keep your back to the wall. Because right now, I know I'm sounding like a cranky old man, and I am a cranky old man. But the thing is, and now too, when I was brought in, I was scared to say a word. You know, I done what I was told to do. You do what the booker tells you to do. You do what the promoter tells you to do. You come in, you're just happy to have a slot and be there. So when you get in, guys, do what you're told to do. Pay attention. Don't worry about all this high-flying stuff. Learn your basic moves, what you have to do. and just come in and be respectful like you would to your parents, you know?
There you go, there you go.
You know, your mom and dad taught you, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, yes no ma'am. So remember that. Golden rule.
Now, you've been, like I said, you've been in it for quite a while. You've had a lot of matches, a lot of feuds. What would you say would be your biggest feud?
Ooh. I guess when I was managing a guy, we were working with Gary Valiant a lot.
Gary Valiant.
Yeah, I mean, it got really heavy. And another one of my favorite feuds, well, I don't know if you remember, was with a guy named Shane Morton. I managed a masked guy named Damien. And that was a bloody feud. I mean, we threw a snake on him, we got him snake bit. We were getting ready to set him on fire and stuff, but it got pretty crazy, you know. We even kidnapped his wife and such.
Okay, did you have like a signature move?
Well, like I said, I wasn't really a wrestler per se. I did my share of matches. I even wrestled a beaver one night, and the beaver won, by the way. He was a radio mascot. Nah, I just, let's just put it this way, I could wheel my cane pretty good.
That's what I was wondering. I remember that cane. So as far as wrestling, is there anything, if you could change anything about it, would there be anything you would change or try to make better? Or
Today?
Yeah.
Yes, I would. I would try to make it be more wrestling and not sports entertainment.
There
You know, like I said, I mentioned Dick the Bruiser a while ago. I was real lucky. I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, and at 11 o'clock on Saturday nights and Friday nights, we got WWA, I think it was, Dick the Bruiser out of Indianapolis, and then on Saturday mornings, we got Nick Goulas, which was down here, and you had Lawler and the interns and all those guys, and
Yeah.
up there.
I remember
You
that.
had Bobby Heenan with the Blackjacks, you had the Bruiser, Wilbur Steiner. Those guys were wrestlers, man. They beat the heck out of each other.
And speaking of wrestlers, I got three wrestlers here who I think are really unique, and I know you know them. And as far as meeting them and whatever, give me your views on them.
All right.
Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George, he was the premier entertainer. He was the
He
guy.
was yeah.
Showbiz, as a matter of fact, that's where Muhammad Ali got his shtick.
I remember that.
He was great. Of course, I wasn't around to get to see him live, but I've seen clips. He would carry the gold bobby pins and throw them. He was the ultimate showman.
Andre the Giant.
Wow. He was a phenomenon. I mean, geez. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah.
The guy was a giant.
Oh yeah.
For real.
Yeah. The last one not least, I know you have to agree with me on far as being one of the best technical wrestlers of all time, Luv Shak.
Luthez, man, I'm gonna tell you what. That guy right there was there wasn't much entertainment,
But he
was a wrestler. He was a shooter.
Yeah.
He could wrap you up twist you like a pretzel.
Now, here's the name I'm going to give you. I don't mean to get your blood pressure stirred up. The Rich Revolution.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm a fair guy. Try to be, excuse me, and I give credit where credit's due. I've known Master Rich as long as I've known you. Rich is one heck of a wrestler. He's you asked me to tell the young kids what they can do. Well, let me tell you something. Master Rich or Johnny Richards, whatever, right now, I'm going to tell you something. Johnny Richards would meet me every week at that Coliseum. He carried my bags in. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yeah.
He was a respectful young man. His mom raised him right. He listened. He wanted the wrestling business. He gave everything. I've seen that kid couldn't hardly walk, and he would be running those stairs to the wheels. He's a good, respectful young man. He's gone astray, but that's okay. We all, I haven't been an angel in my career. So.
Neither both of us have.
No, but Johnny Richards, he's really good. He's a good guy. He's a good wrestler. He's taking a path right now, but he'll come back eventually.
Now,
I want to say this. I wish a lot of guys would pay attention to it.
there you go.
And something I want to say too, and I'll shut up about it. Johnny Richards was trained by one of the best. And a lot of people forget that he was trained by Chris Champion.
Yeah.
That's one of the meanest guys ever and one of the best wrestlers ever.
Yeah.
So he was trained really right. You got nothing by Chris.
As a matter of fact, he's the one that brought me back in to manage
Yeah.
Johnny Richards. I mean, Mama Rich introduced Chris to me. She wanted, and we got together. He went pretty far.
I have utmost
Pretty
respect for Chris Champion. He helped me a lot.
Yeah, he was great. And, he did good with Johnny. I mean, A little too good, maybe.
Well, Johnny's kind of following that dark
There you
side.
go. Now, moving on now. August 11th is our next event. It's going to be great, but it's called Revolution Rules. And, you know, the reason why it's Revolution Rules, like I said, Johnny Richards
Let me
made all the
guess.
stipulations. In order for me to have my wedding, you know, he had to put his, you know, what's in it for me? Well, he got what he wanted. So, Revolution Rules at the Metro Center at August 11th, 2012, 820 Metro Drive here in Nashville, like I said. Well, you got one of the matches is, okay, handpicked by Johnny Richards. Matches now so far, the NFW World Champion Flash Flanagan versus Mr. Wrestling Nick Dinsmore in a Revolution Lumberjack match, meaning every Lumberjack will be a member of the Rich Revolution. What do you think about
Well,
that?
that's not a loaded car. Stack is
That poor Flash, but I tell you what, he said, okay, I'm ready.
Let me tell you something.
He's not
Flash,
afraid
you
of
know,
nobody.
one of my favorite matches, I'll say this too, you asked me, seen Flash Flanagan and Chris Jericho tear it up in Lowell Gardens right off the bat. Flash tore a tricep.
Yeah,
The Flash is ready for it.
yeah. You know, all the Lumberjacks, Rich Revolution, going to be around here, so you got to be careful. But I believe he'll be ready also. Now we also got one half the NFW Tag Team Champions, leader of the Rich Revolution, Johnny Richards, will take on your buddy, the Magic Nick Iggy, in a dog collar match.
Well, let me tell you something. Nick Iggy,
He's got Richard's number.
yeah, let me tell you what, Nick is another one of those young guys.
Yeah.
He's respectful. I mean, I kind of guess I've got a little time invested in Nick. Let me tell you something. Nick's not a softie. Nick will hold right there
Rich
with
hasn't
him.
beaten Nick yet.
No, he hasn't.
He hasn't
And,
beaten Nick yet.
As a matter of fact, as we speak tomorrow, they will meet again.
That's right.
You will dance one more time, my friend.
And again, August 11th. Now, NFW Women's Champion Epiphany and one half the NFW Tag Team Champions, Lita Ortiz, will make history when they face off in the first ever NFW Women's Street Fight for the title.
That's going to be a really good
And I
match.
had a lot of comments about the match they had last time and time before. I'll tell you what, they're great. I mean, they went after each other, even though they're on the same team. You know, when you're in that ring going at each other, you have no friends. I mean,
Oh, no, there's no friendship. That goes out the window the minute that bell rings.
that bell rang.
At least it did for me.
And right now, you know, they're not going to hold nothing back, and that's going to be one heck of a match.
When you're talking gold and money, it all just disappears.
It's going to be great. You know, we got a lot of more matches to come. I mean, I'm sure Mama Rich will get with me later, with me and you, and announce some more matches. But
Well, I've got to tell you this. Johnny Richards is good about surprises.
yeah,
Hey, Johnny, I got a little surprise for you in August. And that's where I'm going to leave it at.
okay, there you go, there you go. Now, before we got to hear you again here in a little bit, but you got, okay, we're here in Nashville. You've got a wonderful wife. She's an angel.
Well, thank you. I
She's
think
an
so too, man. She's my best friend.
She supports everything you do.
Yep, she does. She puts up a lot of stuff, except the snake handle. She didn't want no part of the snake handle.
I'll wait. And you love your grandkids.
Oh,
I mean, you talk about them all the time. So
Yeah, they're
you know, it's great how they support what you do. You know, that makes it worthwhile too when you got a family there that loves everything about you, what you do, supports you. Like I said, you got a great family, a great wife,
I appreciate
and
it.
it's great. But I tell you what, before we go out with this, I'm sure you got a message for the NFW Nation, for anybody who's going to be watching this, and I'm hoping a lot of people will be watching. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you have another moment to shine again. If you have something to say to the NFW Nation, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, I've said, you hear people say this, but I'm just not saying it. I've said it 100 times. I love working for NFW, and I love all the fans. And I'm going to leave some people up, but you got Vicky, and my favorite, Linda Nelson, Roxanne and Sammy, and all of those people feel, Linda, that's what I said, they feel like my family, I mean, and they're good, honest people. And I'll say this, and I've said it before, and it's not because I work for them, but the NFW is one of the premier companies. You were with me last night.
Yeah, that's what I'm
We
getting
were in Nashville, and
Yeah.
I was talking to a young lady, and she knew all about NFW.
That's reminded me. We hung out last night. I had a great time meeting a bunch of guys that you know for a long time. And one of the guys we seen that I know we're going to see again. We're going to see tomorrow, and that's the Boogie Woogie Boy.
Oh, yeah.
He made a point out there that really was great, and he says the fans make the wrestling.
They do,
It wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't be wrestling.
Listen, we all
And it's
do
great.
this for
Great.
we all do it for ourselves, our egos, and if it wasn't those people out there applauding and pumping us, we we wouldn't do it. We're there to
Right.
entertain, and without you folks, and like I said, I love everybody in that town, but Evansville is my favorite wrestling town.
It's great.
As a matter of fact, and this is not me just joking, my wife and I, we've talked, you know, that's where our grandkids are right up the road in Princeton. We will be there if the good Lord willing. We'll be there one day.
All right, all right. Now, like I said, August
So we
11th.
will be cooking out long.
There you go. Turkey burgers.
Yes, sir.
August 11th, Revolution Rules. You got the Nick Iggy dog collar match with Johnny Richards. You got the Revolution Lumberjack match with Flash Flanagan. And, it's going to be great. And we got the Lito Ortiz, Epiphany, street fight.
It'll be really good, yeah.
So it's going to be something else. I mean, it's going to be great. So I tell you what, Charles, before we end, I'm going to let you spread the love. After you spread the love, you guys spread the love on the guitar.
All right. I just want to tell you guys, also tomorrow, Al and I, like you said,
That's
this will be
right.
there. Tomorrow we got the Charming Charles benefit. That's going to be happening, and it already has happened, but it's going to be a big time. And I want to thank all you people that supported me up here the other night in Evansville, man. You guys were generous. I want to thank my buddy Al. I love you, Al, like a brother.
That's right.
And I want to say thanks to Big Al and Penny for having a great reception last
You're
week
great, too,
at
Joe. You're great.
Garvin Park. But right now, just remember this. Don't fight amongst yourself in FW Nation. Leave the fight into me and Big Al. All you got to do is spread the love.
Okay, Charles, let's hear it, buddy.
See what I can get right going for us here. I'm going to send this out to that old T-boat. I hear you in FW Nation. I'm going to be back in August if the good Lord lets me live. I hear you in FW Nation. I'm going to come back if the good Lord lets me live. And when I do, Lord, I got 199% that I'm going to give.